For a long time, I hated saving money. It was a struggle to see my paycheck disappear into the dark abyss of my savings account, even if I knew it was for my own good. But in recent years, I've been able to consistently save money with a lot less effort. And it's all because of this particular strategy that tricks my brain into enjoying saving and making money. And it all starts with video games. For some reason, whenever you start a new video game, you always want to make the strongest character possible. You'll patiently collect gold and XP points so you can one day do cool stuff like level up, buy better armor, and explore the unknown. And real life is pretty much the same. People who collected a bunch of money can buy nicer clothes, faster cars, and travel the world. And so far, I'm not saying anything that you don't already know. In theory, most people know that the formula to wealth is to work hard, save, and invest. And while that formula is true, there is one big problem that no one talks about. And it's that contrary to video games, saving money and growing your wealth is tough. It can take years of sustained and dedicated mental and physical energy, which is why most people would rather just accept their current situation, no matter how bad it is, and just watch Netflix. But if we can figure out what is it about video games that makes doing boring things like patiently collecting gold easy and fun, then we can apply that to real life. First, with RPGs or role-playing games, we know exactly what we need to do most of the time. In God of War Ragnarok, if you just started the game, you can't unlock the glacial permafrost skill yet. It'll tell you that you need more XP points, so you go out and fight monsters to level up. That's clear. And even if we don't know what to do in the game, we can always cheat and look up the game instructions online. But in real life, no one knows what we're working towards. There aren't any predefined objectives or definite cheat sheets. You're just plopped into a random city on Earth in a random year without any tutorials. You're assigned to random guides such as your birth parents who have random degrees of financial security and opportunities. They sort of help you out for the first few levels of your life, but then you eventually have the scary realization that they too have no idea what they're doing. They're just going with the flow. So you're just expected to kind of figure it all out. Sure, if you're lucky, you'll encounter people along your journey who will tell you stuff like save and invest your money. But hearing these random instructions being thrown out just isn't the same as when you set the path yourself. Like when you're striving for a job promotion or when you're starting a side hustle. So like in video games, you need to create your own main and side quest, because if you don't have a clear direction, you're just aimlessly playing the game of life and hoping something works out. So if your life were an RPG, what would be your main quest for the next few months or years? What would you need to do to achieve it? In God of War Ragnarok, while defeating the Norse god Odin might be the main quest, the game doesn't make you focus on that much. Instead, the game breaks it down into shorter side quests that eventually lead up to the big fight. First, you might need to find some allies, then level up your weapons, then recruit an army, etc. So break down your main quest into the smallest feasible task that get you closer to your main objective. If your main quest is to buy your first house, break down the process from beginning to end and write it into your notebook, aka your new quest log. The first side quest might be to start saving $10 a day. And you might look at me like, what? I'll never be able to afford a house with just $10. But if you normally only save $5 a day, you're saving 2 times more, 100% more than usual. If you want to make more money, but you never explored anything outside of your traditional 9-to-5 job, then start small. Look for a small side hustle that can help you make an extra $7 a day. And while that might seem like barely anything to you, it's technically infinitely more than the extra $0 that you made before. At this stage, I don't want you to worry about the size of the numbers. I just want you to start building your money habits, because over time, these habits will become second nature and the numbers will grow. Did you ever wonder why you're so motivated to complete quests in video games? Like, why are you so excited to crush candies for hours or spend days mining gold and coal in RuneScape? It's because video games always reward you for your effort. Like, would you even bother to save Princess Peach from Bowser for the 27th time if you didn't get anything for it? Probably not, because it's getting pretty annoying that Princess Peach still gets kidnapped after I, Mario, saved her 26 times already. But because there is a reward and a hit of dopamine at the end, you'll happily go out and save her. And so far, I'm not saying anything about rewards and incentives that you don't already know, but most people reward themselves the wrong way. In Skyrim, the game's reward system always creates what I call a boost cycle. Once you defeat a dragon, you might unlock a stronger spear, which means you can now fight stronger enemies. Essentially, the reward that you receive makes Skyrim more fun and keeps you playing. But imagine a game where you spend countless days leveling up your character, getting new weapons, and unlocking new skills, all in your quest to defeat the dragon boss. And then after 6 tries, 6 long fights that probably took a couple of hours, you finally eliminate it. But instead of getting some cool prize, you actually get penalized, and you lose all your gold coins. Now this game's reward system, which I call Sync Cycle, sounds broken, but it's exactly what we do in real life, and no one realizes it. Yes, rewarding yourself is great, but the way you're taught to do it does more harm than good. Like if you've been frugal for 1 month and you managed to save, let's say $1,000. You worked hard for it, you sacrificed going out with friends, eating out for lunch, and a bunch of other fun activities. Heck yeah, you deserve a reward, but most people reward themselves by buying things like a brand new $1,000 computer that they didn't need, which is exactly the sync cycle. So instead of the sync cycle reward system, you should apply the boost cycle, where instead of spending that $1,000 on unnecessary things, you invest it into an asset that allows you to more easily make and save money in the future. It might not be as fun to do in the short term, but it will keep you on track for your main quest in the long term. In most video games, the prize is unexpected and different every time. In RuneScape, after you defeat a rare enemy, they drop something new. Sometimes it's new weapons, new resources, or keys to unlock new parts of the map. And it's this surprise element that creates a euphoric anticipation that makes you want to keep playing to see what's next. Our brains need variety and novelty to make repeated tasks enjoyable. Like if a video game literally rewards you with the same exact sword, no changes whatsoever, each time you defeat a boss, then you're gonna get bored really quickly. Now in real life, do you remember the first day at your job? You were probably super excited. You met new people, you learned new things, and just fast forward a few months, maybe even a year, and now your job is pretty boring. Because it's the same thing over and over again. You already know what to expect, so there's nothing really to look forward to. And while I do believe routines are helpful, you gotta add some spice to them every so often. If you've been working the same job for years and you aren't learning anything new, look for a different role. If you're bored of your current side hustle, start something else. If you've only been rewarding yourself with the boost cycle and buying assets, it's okay to treat yourself to a sync cycle once in a while if it helps you stick to your main quest longer. Another big one is story trees. In the Walking Dead adventure game, every decision you make, from the dialogue choices to which characters you want to eliminate, influences the gameplay later on. Like 2 people could play the exact same Walking Dead game and end up with completely different endings. But in real life, unlike video games, there are infinite paths available to you. Do you want to go to college, trade school, the military, start working, or do nothing at all? No matter which path you choose, a bunch more potential storylines will open up. Like if you go to college, what major will you do? How hard are you going to study? And how are you going to pay for your tuition? And even if you think you're making the quote-unquote right choices, you could be completely wrong. No one knows. It's not like a video game where you can easily choose the optimal decision because it's just an algorithm. Each decision you make opens up more doors in front of you and closes the door behind you. It's not to say that it's impossible to go back and open the closed door, but it does get harder. And it's this harder aspect that makes it difficult for people to make pivotal decisions. And the overwhelming nature of it all leads a lot of people to have analysis paralysis or not pick any door because they're afraid it's not the right one. But realize that by doing this, you're not protecting yourself from pain. You're just swapping the temporary discomfort of doing something for the long-lasting consequences of doing nothing. So the trick is to not procrastinate, but to just slow down. Take a step back and examine each door very carefully. Consider what the consequences are and make sure that the door is a good financial fit for you. Say I have $5,000. I'll visualize all the different doors that could spawn from having this money. Investing the money, buying a car, buying a year's worth of McDonald's. But if I choose the car, then all the other doors will just disappear. They're no longer available. But the door with the car will open up more doors, such as auto insurance, maintenance, gas, and me crying in the corner because I didn't need a new car. Another big one is visible progress. Video games make it clear that you're improving over time by showing you the XP bar. You gain more XP points by eliminating more enemies, accomplishing more quests, and discovering new things. In Call of Duty, if you want to unlock stronger weapons and attachments, then you just gotta play the game and eliminate your enemies. But in real life, you have no idea where you're at, and you're just hoping that you're progressing. And it's fascinating how video games track progress. Say your goal is to get to level 50. You will never find a game that says you're 1% on the way to level 50, because that makes it feel like it's unachievable. Instead, it'll say that you're 80% to level 4, so you always feel like you're almost there, which makes you want to keep playing just a bit longer to reach the next level. Unfortunately, progress in real life isn't obvious, so you gotta make your progress visible to yourself. I found that one of the best ways to do this is by making a list of tasks that I do that gets me closer to my main quest and comparing my current progress to my past progress. So say in the last month you saved $100, you invested $47, and you sold your products or services to 20 people. Write that all down so that you can benchmark your progress. Like maybe this month you saved $500, you invested $100, and you sold to 35 people. Again, write it down, and now you can see your visible progress month by month or year by year or whatever time frame you want. And now the trick is you want to beat it the next time. Whenever you make progress, take a moment to appreciate it. Even if it's just a small step forward, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment. And the cool thing is, the more accomplished you feel, the more you'll crave that feeling, creating a cycle where even a tiny bit of success gives you the boost of dopamine and motivation to keep going, which leads to even more success. When you play a video game, you get to be whoever you want to be. You get to choose all your stats, your backgrounds, and your skills. But that's not a luxury real life offers. In real life, you're just you. You're human with struggles, vices, and flaws. You're not a robot who can be expected to constantly do hard things day in and day out. And for the longest time, I struggled with procrastination, with doing hard and boring tasks. But things have completely turned around the past few years. Find out how I tricked my brain to love doing hard things, which transformed my life.